right, we have urgent breaking news for you at this hour. There are level 3 go now evacuations in place for a fire burning in Latah County. This is just east of Moscow. It's near the Robinson Park area. We're told people living near that area need to be going right this minute to avoid that area completely as much as you can. This is a live look right this minute at the area where that fire is burning. But again, if you live in that area, you need to leave. And if you don't live in that area, you need to stay far, far away to allow crews and first responders time and space to actively fight the fire, as we also know there are strong winds in the area as well. We do have a crew on the scene. We'll make sure to bring you live reports a little bit later in the show. But first, we want to get straight to our chief meteorologist, Jeremy Legoo. We knew there were strong winds, blowing dust, and as you had mentioned, elevated fire danger. So it's still impacting a lot of people depending on where they are in the region tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, producer Will, could you please get out of my ear for a second? Thank you. I can't think straight. Whitney, take a look at behind the storm. We had a ton of rain move through and the sun is coming out quick. We just tapped every bit of moisture from the atmosphere and our temperatures are already rebounding. We're back up to 50 degrees, but notice the wind still blowing at over 23 miles per hour, and it's likely going to continue to gust a little bit stronger. For that reason, we have those weather impact alerts running through 7 p.m. You're already seeing some of the impacts from that wildfire burning outside of Moscow. So the big story here is just be aware of what's going on. Wind is picking up behind that frontal boundary. 51 miles per hour in Lewiston, 37 in Pullman, 31 here in Spokane, 35 up in Sandpoint. We still have the wind advisories down across the Palouse. Those wind advisories are going to remain in effect through 7 p.m. So does include parts of the southern panhandle, and it likely is going to stay strong when it comes to that wind as we move through the next couple of hours. We have expired the red flag warnings around Spokane and for most of Whitman County. You get a little farther south, we still have those lingering a bit longer. For that reason, I don't think we are in the clear just yet. It is very dry behind that rain, and the rain's moving out quickly. Expect it to move out here in the next hour. Seriously, in the next hour. And then we head into a much calmer weekend. It stays breezy tonight, 64 and sunny tomorrow, 70s return on Sunday.
All right, Jeremy, thank you very much. And to get the latest updates on weather, remember you can download our KREM 2 app. You can sign up to get severe weather alerts and just check the forecast in your neighborhood. You can also watch Up with KREM on our live stream. You can download the KREM 2 app right now in your phone's app store. We also wanted to let you know that we did check in with Avista today to see if they are planning any power shutoffs as the storm moves through. At this time, they say they are not expecting to implement any of that public safety power shutoff program. You may remember it was during last Sunday's windstorm. A surprise power outage impacted about 1,500 Avista customers in North Spokane County. It lasted for most of the day into the evening. Avista says in its messaging this was to mitigate fire risk as high winds were expected. So again, we'll make sure to update you if any of that changes. And as we continue coverage of this windstorm impact at the hour, the high winds have caused a bit of a speed bump, let's say, for those who are looking to enjoy homecoming weekend at the University of Idaho. KREM 2's Cody Proctor is joining us now here in the studio with how the university is pivoting for those events. Cody?
Well, Whitney, we've been keeping track of those strong winds around the region. This is a look at one of our latest looks over the Idaho Department of Environmental Quality cameras, showing just some of that storm moving through this region right here. This is in Lewiston, south of Moscow, but you can still see just how dusty and dark it's been throughout parts of our day right here. Now, these strong winds are the reason why homecoming organizers had to change all of their plans quite literally overnight. Now, because the red flag warnings that were put into place for the Palouse, outdoor homecoming activities for today were either canceled or postponed. U of I shared an update online saying the state fire marshal played it safe by revoking the permits for the bonfire and fireworks show that were supposed to take place after tonight's Serpentine event. The Tap the Keg Oktoberfest also has been postponed, and the Vandal Rally has been moved inside the ICCU arena. While Senior Director of Alumni Programming and Operations Marie Duncan told KREM 2 the red flag warnings out of her hands, she still does feel sad for those who are not getting the full experience of their Vandal traditions.
I feel most for the students who are affected by this. They get 4 years of the fun, traditional homecoming experience, and to lose one of those is devastating in the moment. But it would be horrible to not make the call and have a bad situation later on.
Now, a quick history lesson. Duncan says the traditions have been around since 1909, and that things have been in the works for this year's celebration since January. According to her, students planned about 90% of the weekend, and she's grateful for the support that's come from both the student body and community with these changes. Now, while today didn't pan out how they hoped, spirits do remain high on campus. University officials say as of right now, tomorrow's activities aren't expected to change. In the studio, Cody Proctor, KREM 2 News.
All right, Cody, thank you very much. And turning back to that breaking news here on that urgent fire alert. Again, there are still level 3 go now evacuations in place for a brush fire burning in Latah County, just outside of the city of Moscow. That is where we have found KREM 2's Christian Garza right this minute. And Christian, what can you tell us about what you're seeing and what you know about those evacuations right now?
Yeah, well, Whitney, we don't have a ton of information as of right now, but let me step off screen so you can see kind of behind me as well. So as you can see, there is a giant kind of plume of smoke that's just off the distance over that hill as of right now. Like you said, there are level 3 evacuations near Robinson Park. Now, Latah County Sheriff Anthony Skiles, now he says that he has crews on scene as of right now that are evacuating a couple of houses that are in the danger zone. However, he says that no structures have been lost at this time, but we are still trying to find more information as far as where our command is to get more information on how the fire started and how big it is as of right now. But like we said, those level 3 evacuations are in place for people that live immediately in that area, but there are crews that are going and evacuating people as of right now. Of course, this is a developing situation, so when we have more information, we will be sure to report that back to you. In Moscow, Christian Garza, KREM 2 News.
All right, Christian, thank you very much. Taking a look now at today's other top stories. 4 people are recovering tonight after a major car crash on Highway 27 near Micah earlier today. It's unclear exactly what caused the crash. However, the Washington State Patrol says multiple cars were involved. And you can see pretty severely damaged vehicles as well. According to Spokane County Fire District 8, 3 people are now in critical condition. 1 other person suffered minor injuries. The crash did block the road for several hours, but it has since reopened. Just a few hours ago, a Boise judge sentenced a man to life in prison after he helped an inmate escape custody at a Boise hospital in a gunfight that injured 2 officers. Nicholas Umfenauer pleaded guilty to half a dozen charges about a month ago. Police say Umfenauer shot 2 Idaho Department of Corrections officers while breaking Skylar Mead out of custody in late March. The judge said today she needed to give him a severe sentence to protect the community. As part of today's sentencing, Umfenauer could seek parole, but only after serving 40 years behind bars. And Umfenauer and Mead also are facing first-degree murder charges in the death of a North Idaho man. Investigators say the 2 killed him during that 36-hour manhunt across the state. They're now being investigated for their potential involvement also in another North Idaho homicide as well. Nez Perce County has not yet confirmed when they will move Umfenauer up north to face those charges. Today, Idaho State Senator Daniel Foreman continues to be called out for an alleged racist remark to a Nez Perce tribal member. It happened at a candidate forum in Kendrick on Tuesday. During the event, the Democratic candidate and tribal member Trish Carter Goodhart said she was answering a question about discrimination and legislation, and she says before she even could finish her thought, Senator Foreman started yelling.
I basically just stood up and I said, just because this isn't your lived experience does not mean that discrimination and racism don't exist today. And these are, very real experiences of so many Idahoans. And it's not an Idaho issue. It's a national and even global issue.
And what was the response to that?
I didn't even get to finish my sentence. The state senator, Foreman, shot up out of his seat and started, I'm so tired of your liberal BS. Go back to where you came from.
I'm sure the irony of the phrase, go back to where you're from, is not lost on you.
No, it's very ironic. I'm a very proud member of the Nez Perce tribe here in northern Idaho. This is exactly where I'm from. I was like, in my mind, I was thinking, yeah, this is exactly where I belong. I have no intention of leaving.
Senator Daniel Foreman did respond with a statement on Facebook saying in part, Idaho does not practice systemic racism. He went on to say he and another forum attendee told Goodhart there was no systemic racism in Idaho, and he said that's when she flew into a rage and shouted at me, saying that you people don't know what you are talking about because you're not Native American. According to Foreman, he told Goodhart that he is Native American because he was born in America. You can find his full statement and more to this story on KREM.com.